Hey there, I'm Stefanie Flaxman. I've been a writer and editor for 20 years, and I have more than 200 videos on YouTube that help you live and work like a writer. That is a lot of videos, so let me curate my best advice for you. You can sign up for free exclusive updates at stefanieflaxman.com. I'll send you my top tips for new writers, plus other advice that works best in email rather than audio or video. It would be my pleasure to meet you at your inbox as your new writer consultant. Ready to join the club? Go to stefanieflaxman.com to sign up for free. And remember, I spell Stefanie with an F, not a PH. The proper spelling is on your screen right now. That is stefanieflaxman.com. I'll see you there. I am going to blame this whole language issue on one poor soul who works at a coffee shop that I sometimes go to on the weekends. Now, it is not only him that I've had this experience with, and now that I think about it, it's not only in-person customer service interactions where I have experienced this evolution of language. It has also happened to me in online chats when you're corresponding with someone because of some customer service inquiry you have about a subscription you have or an account or just things that we might have to correspond with a company online and they have an online chat option. So it has become increasingly popular, I have found, to substitute the phrase, quote, "you're welcome," with, quote, "no worries." This is an evolution of language which happens, but it has become a pet peeve for me because of the connotation that goes along with this new substitute for "you're welcome." So traditionally, if someone does their job and you are polite and you have manners and you're familiar with etiquette, you say thank you. They're just doing their job, you're acknowledging it, and you say thank you, and they respond with "you're welcome." That is the traditional language that I was brought up with. It's etiquette. It's how people talk. If we break down those words, it might seem a little stiff or weird or outdated, but that's how people communicate who have manners. So when I go to this coffee shop on the weekends, there is a guy who works there, and when he gives you your coffee, well, when he takes your order and when he gives you your coffee, which is his job, he works at the coffee shop. That is his job. I am the patron of the coffee shop. I go in there, I order, and then I pick up the coffee that I have ordered. So going along with traditional language and speech and etiquette, I say thank you. And he responds with, quote, "no worries." Now, I would prefer for him to respond with "you're welcome," but that is me just going along with what I know. Language evolves like this, and so I can't be too cranky about it. I'm aware that these things happen, but there's a connotation that goes along with "no worries" that makes the person who you say "no worries" to feel like you put them out in a certain way. It feels like they're maybe a little annoyed at you, but they're saying, "hey, no worries." So even though language has evolved like this, the phrase "no worries" is not a correct substitute for "you're welcome." I was telling a friend of mine about this, and she's worked at a big corporate law firm for 25 years. And she said every year they have customer service training, which she is very familiar with because she has worked there for so long. And she said every year part of their customer service training includes the instruction not to say, quote, no worries when someone says thank you for the exact reason that I just explained, because it makes the person that you're saying no worries to feel like they did something that they shouldn't have, that they crossed the line a little bit, but that it's no big deal. It's no problem. Now, if I was in a coffee shop and I spilled the coffee that I just ordered and someone who worked there rushed to clean it up and then got me a new coffee and I said, thank you, and they said, no worries, I feel like that situation is more appropriate because I did put them out a little bit. My mistake, my error, even though it was an accident, it made them have to do extra work. So if I'm thanking them in that context, it would be appropriate, more appropriate for them to say, oh, no worries. It's like no problem. That context makes the phrase no worries a little bit more warranted because I did do something as a patron that I shouldn't have done, even though it was an accident. And the no worries even sort of explains from the other person's point of view, hey, I get it was an accident, no problem, no worries. But when I'm just doing my role as a patron, which is ordering a coffee or picking up my coffee from a counter, and I say thank you to the person who provided that service, no worries. Can you tell how it's a little bit different? It's not the same as you're welcome. It's making me feel like I put them out as a patron just by doing my job as a patron. So even though this is occurring in verbal speech or customer service interactions in online chat, and this isn't exactly website writing, content writing, article writing, it is a reflection of how language has gone so casual, and there aren't always appropriate substitutes as this language has evolved. We're not taking the meaning of what we're saying into consideration when this language is evolving to become so casual. And the reason why it contributes to why there is such bad writing online and how it is becoming more and more acceptable. This is a gradual thing, but it irks me enough to not particularly want to go into places that have not trained their employees to say the proper things to make the patrons feel welcome. And you can't avoid it if you're doing an online chat customer service thing because you're not physically going anywhere. So it's a little less invasive, or it's a little less of a turnoff because you haven't really gone somewhere. But for in-person businesses who aren't training their employees with traditional customer service standards that make the patrons feel welcome, I don't know. Maybe they're going to lose business, or maybe I'm not their clientele. Maybe I'm not the person who they want to fit in there. Maybe they're trying to attract people who don't care if their employees say no worries. There's a parallel here to using the language that your audience uses when you're doing content writing and copywriting. So maybe I'm just not part of their demographic and they don't want cranky people like me going into their coffee shop anyways. So I'm curious if there are other language evolutions that you have heard that you do not think are appropriate, either in person or online. Because the bigger picture here is the connotation in the language that we choose. And there is a negative connotation of saying no worries to someone. So I think this is a negative direction for language, and it can contribute to language going in a direction that does not serve people as well. It's not as clear. If you don't take connotation into account, when you're choosing the words, then it just sort of chaos and, very vague language that doesn't get good results. And I'm so passionate about precise language because it does get results and it eliminates confusion and it helps everyone involved, whether you are the business person or the patron. So let me know your experiences with the evolution of language that you think is not clear as the traditional version. And go save the internet. That is it for today. If you'd like to get exclusive tips that I only share in email, go on over to stefanieflaxman.com and sign up for free. I will see you there and talk with you soon.